So Alien Earth has concluded, and I want to share my thoughts. So it seems every so often in the last few years, FX has produced a TV show that gets universal praise and applause and kind of takes over the internet for a portion of time. Let's break down the track record. If we go back to, I think it's 2023, Shogun came out. Now, listen, I was a critic of Shogun because I came to the party late and I heard so many good things every week when the episode dropped. People talked it up and talked about how it was one of the best shows on television. I had really, really high expectations. And then when I watched it, 3 episodes in, I was bored. Nonetheless, I acknowledge that it was a stellar product. They put so much heart and effort into it. The production value was incredibly high, and I could tell that by watching the episodes that I did watch. Ultimately, it was not for me, though. Then, in the beginning of 2025, we get Paradise. Paradise, during its run, was blowing up the internet. Every week, people talked about the different reveals and the different things we learned about different characters. That show was so nice, I watched it twice. I binged it in a very short amount of time and immediately linked back up with my wife and said, hey, baby, you got to watch this. And I'm going to watch it with you again. And she was like, didn't you just finish this? I said, yes, ma'am. We're going to do it again. I'm going to watch it again because it is worth a rewatch. And it was very, very good. Great experience. And we look forward to see more from that universe. Can't wait till season 2 is released of that show. And now on the back half of 2025, we have Alien Earth. Alien Earth was a hell of a ride, and it wins in the most basic way possible with the word that I love to use when we talk about different properties, and that word is accessibility. The Alien franchise has so many films in its catalog, and the timeline is a very winding road. Even me and my friend during a pre-production phone call talked about what movies are canon and which movies are not canon. What movies has he seen versus me, who has seen everything that the alien world has to offer. You know, I enjoyed Prometheus. I enjoyed Covenant. I liked Aliens 1, 2, and 3 from 79 to the early 90s. I even liked Alien Resurrection, even though we both acknowledge how weird and different that one was from everything else in the franchise. I've watched all the Alien versus Predator stuff. I've seen every Predator film that was released except the one with Olivia Munn, because that one just never sat right with me. But I've seen all the world has to offer in terms of xenomorphs, right? But you don't need any of that when it comes to watching and enjoying this show. My wife is not a big fan of the xenomorphs. She hasn't seen any of the more recent Alien films. I think the last one she probably saw was Aliens from like back in the 80s. She saw that just in passing over the years, but she's never been a big fan of that because it is horror. But she will get involved when, you know, it's something that's accessible as this show is. You don't need to know anything besides what do the face huggers do when they latch on, and how do the xenomorphs do what they do once they grow to full size. She was familiar enough to know that when the little face huggers get on you, they put an egg in you and it busts out of you. Like, that's all you really need to know in this world. The opening crawl gives you the tad bit of information that you'll need in relation to all the new characters that you meet in the show, as well as it kind of gives you a hint towards the existence of synthetic beings. And, you know, so when you see the white blood instead of red blood, my wife was like, what is that? I was like, oh, he's an android. She was like, okay, cool. I knew that they exist here, but, you know, didn't know that the blood was white. And I was like, yeah, you know, they made references to it. She's like, oh, that's what they meant. It's like, yeah. And we just continued to watch it like it was no problem at all. We really enjoyed this show. It was paced well, the action was done well, and the writing of it is done well, because you are left in a place of mystery for most of the show, even though you get monumental reveals and big things happening between your characters from episode to episode. They still left a layer of intrigue there, and they introduced new alien species that brought so much more intrigue than just the xenomorphs. Although I didn't do a score for this TV show, I have to say that this is top tier stuff if you're watching it. I thought that Alien Earth was a great weekly release thing. You know, it gives you an event to look forward to each week, as well as it wasn't as big as Paradise, but it did take a small pocket of the internet by storm, that every week you see new people be introduced to it. You see people praising it and just applauding the level of writing, the level of care, and the different angle which this approaches all the different xenomorph alien mythos, because you had things going in one direction with Prometheus and Covenant, but this feels like a course correction, along with Alien Romulus that came out last year. This feels like a course correction and going back towards the original films and that trajectory. So really cool stuff. I enjoyed the way they put a spin on who are the real predators, who are the real monsters towards the end of the season. I thought that was beautifully done. Something that you could kind of feel coming, but didn't think it would be realized as fully as it was realized in that last episode. And it left us in a great place looking for more to come from them very, very soon. If you have any thoughts on Alien Earth, if you just want to praise it in the comment section, I would welcome that. And that's all we have for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.